Welcome back to 13C, everyone. I'm here today, and I've got Indiana State Representative Jim Lucas on the phone with me. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Joe. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's great to talk to you. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for us. I know you're in session all this week, and like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Actually, this is mid-session, so we've got a little break. We get caught up on things like this and get the word out.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate it. For my subscribers who may not be fully aware of Indiana State Representative politics, you're an Indiana State Representative from the kind of the southern part of the state. Just want to give us a brief rundown on kind of your just a short history and background.
Born and raised in Seymour, and I represent District 69, which, like you said, is the southern part of the state, south central. Been married 22 years, 3 kids, small business owner for 18 years, veteran of the Marine Corps, and just one of those people that got fed up with politics and decided to get involved. Ran in 2007 for city council at large, got elected there to 2 terms, got bit by the bug, and decided to throw my hat in the ring for the state rep job, and here I am serving my 3rd term right now.
Oh, excellent, very cool. And then as a background, before we get into the meat of the story, I know you've introduced, and looking here at some of my notes, I've got my computer up here in front of me, you've introduced, I'm not counting right now, but probably 30 in this being your 3rd term, probably about 30 different bills you've either authored or sponsored or co-authored that are firearms friendly and pro Second Amendment.
Yes, 32. Just took on my 33rd and 34th. That's not listed. Gun rights, protecting our gun rights and advancing them, that's my number one goal up there. Everybody at the State House, you can't be an expert in everything, so you pick 1 or 2 things that are your passion, and you try to become an expert in that best you can. And again, gun rights is probably my number one, without question. So I've been pushing for that for 5 years, and we're starting to see some really good progress. Indiana is a very pro-gun state, but there's obviously always room for improvement, and those are the things that I'm working on. Excellent.
Well, I've followed some of your other bills, not being from your district. I'm familiar with your name and things like that, but it's great to actually have a chance to go through this with you. So for our viewers, and there's been a huge kind of kerfuffle that popped up in regards to a meme that's, well, I'll put it up here for our subscribers to see. So this meme shows a cut where you cut your National Association of Gun Rights card in half, and the meme shows just a card cut in half with the knife. I had actually seen the full picture a few days earlier, and we'll put that up now. And you can see that is it's a total hit piece. Is what it is. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Why don't you go through your exactly what happened there that led up to you cutting the card, and just kind of walk us through that briefly.
Well, the National Association of Gun Rights, or NAGR, as they're known, they're a so-called gun rights group that say they're working to advance our gun rights, but the instances of the last 10 days, to me personally, have shown otherwise. This is the 3rd year that I've introduced constitutional carry, and that's a difficult call. And that's a big bill to get across the line, especially for a state like Indiana, where we have, for our license, it's probably the best licensing in the nation as far as a license goes. It's shall issue, there's no training required, and we have an option for a lifetime license. So all in all, again, as far as licensing goes, it's pretty good, but it's not good enough. I want to get it to where we shouldn't have to pay the state a fee or jump through hoops to exercise a constitutional right, so therefore constitutional carry. And again, this is the 3rd time I've submitted it, and we're making progress. But some of the largest obstacles that we've seen are every police agency in the state of Indiana has come out against it. Obviously, there's massive media misrepresentation due to either intention or ignorance, or incompetence, who knows, but that's something we're going to continually fight. And some other things that have come up against us. So what we've done, we were able to take my language, which was just pure constitutional carry language, and roll it into another gun rights bill and advance it as a summer study. Well, when this bill was coming up last Monday for a second reading vote for amendment, the National Association for Gun Rights, one of their lobbyists, contacted me and texted me through text if I would be interested, if I would support an amendment that would help the bill, constitutional carry. Well, thinking that I was dealing with a reputable and legitimate organization, I agreed to it. And come to find out, long story short, what they were doing, they were just trying to pull a political stunt to use as a fundraiser down the road. Well, once this got discovered, I backed off, along with other members of the Republican caucus, and Representative Kurt Nicely appealed the ruling of the chair when the chair ruled his amendment as bill pending. Basically, his language was too similar to my language to be used as an amendment. Well, what National Association for Gun Rights and Representative Nicely tried to do, Representative Nicely appealed the ruling of the chair. And to do that, to get it on record, you need a second. Somebody has to second his appeal. Well, nobody did, because we all knew it was just a political stunt. And not just that, but it was a wrong appeal, because the speaker's ruling was definitely legitimate. It had been backed up by two parliamentary attorneys that had ruled on it previously, and he went ahead and went with it through with his actions anyway. Well, that denied Nager their picture of the roll call vote for the appeal, which would have shown 69 Republicans voting against the appeal of the chair. Well, they would have taken that and used it as a fundraiser, trying to scare people or deceive them into thinking that there are 69 Republicans that are against our gun rights. Now, I know this for the simple fact that they put out email blasts telling people that I was against the gun rights, which my record clearly shows. I mean, my commitment in 5 years and my dedication to advancing our gun rights shows that they're basically nothing, just a group of liars. And the Facebook war escalated when they sent out an email blast with my personal cell phone number telling people to contact me to support constitutional carry, which in and of itself is ridiculous, because, again, it was my original bill. But then they posted that picture that you said. Well, I cut up my membership card, but what I did, I put it with my life memberships of the NRA, my life membership with Gun Owners of America, my life membership with the Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association, and my membership with the Second Amendment Foundation life membership. You know, they crop those out. So it's just been one misleading deceit after another. And the fact that, you know, once you do a little bit of digging, they do this all across the country. They go after people and try to scare people into, you know, hey, give us money to fight these representatives that are against your gun rights. So they're basically the Jesse Jackson shakedown artists of the gun rights groups. And hopefully people are becoming aware of it. I'm not going to back down. Matter of fact, I'll take the fight to them and expose them for what they are.
You know,
so that's the story in a nutshell.
That I think that was a great kind of nutshell to put that in. And just for our subscribers, and just to drive home the point that we're speaking with Representative Jim Lucas right now on the phone, and he has authored these constitutional carry bills. So the procedural vote that occurred was just that, a procedural vote. So the stunt that the Nager was trying to put out there was completely against the rules of the House. So that is generally where we're looking at right there. What they had, that vote that they would have used to try and fundraise for was based on a purely procedural vote. It would have had nothing to do with actually constitutional carry in and of itself, correct?
Correct. And the sad part is that vote could have killed, years of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
But as it stands right now, my language cleared the House of Representatives, and it's over in the Senate side now, where, technically it could be re-amended back to the original constitutional carry language. So there's still a chance that we might be able to get this passed this year.
Yeah.
But the fact that Naggard, tried to use this as a fundraising stunt, they jeopardize not just the constitutional carry bill, but years of hard work. And what a lot of people don't understand, you can't just force this thing. If I were to force this and throw it out on the House floor for a vote and say, due to the negativity, this thing were to get voted down on a vote, it's 10 times as hard to bring it back again next year, because
Mm-hmm.
now you have a huge obstacle to overcome, which is a negative floor vote. So, we're making progress and we're moving the ball forward. And the fact that we at the very least, we have a summer study out of it, which gives us an opportunity for the public to come and testify in favor for, and we can get the truth and facts out there to overcome, some of the misunderstanding that the police agencies have. And then we can correct all that, and then I'm going to bring it back again next year. And I've told the Speaker that, and the Governor, this issue is not going to go away as long as I'm in the House.
Oh.
So it's going to keep coming up, and we'll get it done. Other states are doing. New Hampshire just passed it. But I think we have 14 states now, 13 or 14. Kentucky's looking at it. I know North Dakota just made it out of one of their chambers. So this is an issue that's gaining momentum, and we'll get there. But the last thing I want to do is, after all of this effort, get in a hurry and then end up shooting ourselves in the foot. But the frustrating thing is, we're fighting national groups like Naggard, who are more interested in trying to fundraise than actually advance gun rights. I had a really nice support piece from the NRA come out personally supporting me. The National Shooting Sports Foundation has done that. Gun Owners of America, Eric Pratt, we've been in contact. I believe they're in full support. So, the good gun rights groups out there recognize this for what it is. And I'm spreading the word far and wide. National Association for Gun Rights, or Naggard, they're the Westboro Baptist Church, just a horrible organization for our gun rights.
I think you've nailed it there. I've kind of distanced myself from the National Association Naggard over the past couple of years, just because of some things I've seen out of Dudley Brown that I just kind of backed away from, and this is the kind of final straw that really breaks the camel's back here. It's like you mentioned, NRA, Gun Owners of America, and NSSF, which I'm a member of all three of those organizations myself, and when you have all three organizations coming together and various members of the media and firearms community industry, like myself, I think it speaks volumes to what's happening, and that Westboro Baptist mention there kind of honestly puts a face on it, because it's really unfortunate.
Sure.
We've got to battle with.
I ask people, I said, two things I want to throw out here. We have somebody like myself who in 5 years has close to 36 gun rights bills under my belt. Okay, who are you going to believe is the one that's dedicated to advancing our gun rights? Somebody like myself with a proven track record of consistency and getting in the thick of things and fighting this battle, or somebody that's throwing out lies and deception? They publish my cell phone number. Who does that? And they're fundraising off of it. Every time they send out something, they're asking for money. And, there's little fringe groups too. Hoosier Carry is another group here in Indiana that's trying to use this as a fundraiser. They're working hand in hand with Naggard. And it's really frustrating. I've had personal contact with Michael Thomas, the person behind that, and trying to explain to them, what you guys are doing. You're taking a procedural move, and you're trying to manipulate that and deceive the public into thinking that we actually have this many people that are against gun rights. When I believe there's 70 members in the House of Representatives that have at least an A rating with the NRA, and there's even a greater percentage over in the Senate.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking government. Government, you have to be smart about these things. You can't just go in there half-cocked and throw them out there. As easy as it sounds, you've got to do your work. And, that was another thing with Rep. Nisley. When he offered his amendment, he had not even approached me, the author of the original bill. He hadn't approached me to tell me what he was going to do. He hadn't talked to anybody, nobody in the House, nobody in the Senate. So it became obvious that it was just a stunt. And that's not how you make good law. It's simply, that's how bad laws are made. I don't want to be a part of that.
No, I don't blame you, and absolutely. And one other thing to point out: this is actually the first year that the constitutional carry bill in Indiana has made it out of committee. So we've had progress each year on moving this forward. So I wanted to point that out as well. This isn't like it's it came out and it stalled. Again, this is actually our first year out of committee. I'm correct on that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're moving forward, like you said.
The third time I sat on the Public Policy Committee. This is the third different chairman I've had since I've been there, and Representative Ben Smalls. I mean, you won't find a bigger supporter of our gun rights than Representative Smalls. I mean, he had a machine gun shoot for a fundraiser, and he's the one that authored the bill last year, the Gary lawsuit bill. That Gary has a lawsuit currently standing with the state of Indiana that's keeping a lot of gun manufacturers away from Indiana. But Rep. Smaltz, he carried the water on that one and did very well. But he knows that you have to be smart about this. And he and Speaker Bosma has taken a lot of unnecessary and disgusting heat for this. He's the one that he put in countless hours behind the scene helping me get to the point where we can get a summer study out of this. So to see Nagger and Hoosier Carey go after not just myself, but two very pro-gun people who happen to be very, very smart about legislation and how to move it forward. They're doing the right thing. But to see them attacked, along with yourself, it's truly, it's frustrating. It's upsetting, but it doesn't do us any good to see all these pro-gun groups infighting like this when we have enough, we have enough on our hands from Mom's Demand and Every Town for Gun Safety and Bloomberg and all of his cronies. But now we've got Nagger. This almost makes you wonder if Nagger's not funded or in cahoots with Bloomberg, the way they're coming after us.
I just anecdotally, a couple of years ago, there was several years ago, there was a large manufacturer, or a large distributor company on the internet that did some stuff that really angered a lot of the gun community as far as magazine prices and stuff. I won't name names, but those people who remember it will definitely remember it. And that company wound up making a donation to Nagger in the amount of $100,000. And for the next, I think it was 2 to 3 months, almost every other day, the Nagger Facebook page and their email blasts were all in relation to driving traffic to that specific website. And now, there's nothing wrong with accepting a donation from a company, things like that, but that lends credence to some of the money grubbing tendencies, for lack of a better word there. Just for full disclosure for our viewers and subscribers, I reached out to the National Association for Gun Rights, and I have yet to hear back from them. And I also reached out to Representative Nisley. I spoke with his press secretary, Zach, and at some point, Representative Nisley is supposed to get back in touch with us. So if I can do this before this video goes live, I'll try and add some of that in there. But as of this point, no one's actually gotten back to me yet about that. So just some disclosure there for that. Well, we shall see. Reaching out to organizations like Gun Owners of America, National Shooting Sports Foundation, and even the NRA, I wind up getting responses back fairly quickly to things. At least there was some there was some show of concern for Representative Nisley's office. It's been absolutely crickets from Niagara, so we'll see how that goes. What can the people in the state of Indiana and Hoosiers, be it in your district and of course around the state, what's the best course of action for us right now as this goes into summer study? Should we be sending out some emails in support of constitutional carry now, and then follow up with it as soon as the summer study is done? What from your experience do you think would be the best course of action for Hoosiers right now?
Well, the main thing, it's over in the Senate right now, so call your senators and show support for that over there. Contact them. Contact your sheriffs. You know, the Sheriff's Association come out against this, and we've addressed every one of their concerns, and we're making progress. And the main thing I want to tell people is don't give up hope, because we're so close, and don't give in to all the negative that you're hearing. From people like Niagara, who are basically using this as an extortion tool to extort money. But we're going to get there. Indiana has very pro-gun legislature, but we want to do it right. We don't want to go in there and do it wrong, or set ourselves up for failure due to misunderstanding or people not knowing what the bill actually does or does not do. Again, we're very close, and I just want people to remain positive, because, as you stated earlier, we've moved it farther than it's ever been before, and we're still moving forward. So I feel very confident in it, and it's almost like building a house. Once you see the foundation, the frame goes up very, very quick, and then it really slows down when you start seeing the detail work and the carpet and the trim. That's when it looks like it's dragging out. But eventually you get there, and everything's finished, and then we move on to the next pro-gun bill.
Awesome.
So just be positive and stick with us, and don't give in to the naysayers. So that's my words of advice.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'll have some information down below in the links for some of the switchboards and information to contact your various representatives here. If you're from out of the state and you'd like to get more involved, I'll have some more information on 13cgunreviews.com as well. Thank you, Representative Lucas. I really appreciate your time here today. Is there anything we missed? Anything you'd like to touch on yourself? Anything else that's going on right now?
I will talk to anybody about this instance anytime, anywhere. I have nothing to hide. I want to get the truth and facts out there. And the fact that Nager and Rep. Nicely and others won't even discuss this issue, I mean, again, that should be telling enough right there. But compare my record to what they're trying to do. And if people can't figure it out after that, then I don't know what else to tell them. So, the truth's going to come out. Sunshine's the best disinfectant. So let's keep this transparent and move forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Like I said, I'll have all those links down below. Take a moment to subscribe if you haven't. We'll have more information coming out on this as it becomes available, as well as over at 13cgunreviews.com. And of course, Facebook. We are facebook.com/gunreviews. Thanks again, everybody, and stay safe.